What's up, guys? This is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. Today we're starting a new series. You voted for it, so we're talking about how to be the leading character of your movie, how to be the leading role in your life. And you know, I've been talking about this for years because this concept changed my life forever. It's responsible for me now living in this apartment, in this life, with the relationships I have and the success I have. None of this would have been possible if I didn't change my mindset around this topic, because we all know it theoretically. We all know that we should be the leading character of our movie, but not the supporting role. But that doesn't mean that we live that out. And so today I really want to start talking about this in detail so you can really understand what it takes to shift that mindset so you're the center of your life all the time, to understand that there's no reason to feel guilty about it. It's actually a necessity if you want to create the life on your terms. And once you do that, you'll see how you can actually give so much more to others. In the future videos of the series, we're going to talk about how to set the stage, so how to remove blocks, abundance blocks that are keeping us from that, how to set goals, and how to choose the supporting roles in our movie, so the relationships that actually help us and support us in becoming the person we want to be and living the life we always dreamed about. If you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and follow me on Instagram to stay up to date with the news around this channel. So let's talk about this concept. Why is it so important to put yourself in the center of your life, to be the leading role of your movie? And how will that change your entire relationship to the people in your life, your money, your surrounding, everything? So in the end, it really comes down to this. Most people don't really focus on themselves because it's too painful. Because once you focus on yourself, you really understand what is missing, what you have not been living out. Because what happens when we're born? We're completely focused on ourselves. This is the thing, like babies don't stop crying because mom is tired. Like they don't really say, no, I'm not gonna ask for this because like I know we don't have enough money. They want something, to ask for something. This is how we're born. We're actually thought that we can have everything, and then through our life circumstances, we get told that we can't have everything. So what do? We actually focus on other things or on other people and see how we can actually get most of our needs met by focusing on what they want and what they need. And, generally speaking, focusing on other people is not a bad thing, but it only works if you are really putting yourself first in that matter, as in a way of nobody's gonna ask you or expect you not to breathe. Just because you're helping somebody doesn't mean that they say but first off, you have to stop breathing, then make sure that they breathe, and then you take care of yourself. We need to have the necessity of focusing on ourselves and building something that is just ours, something that cannot be taken away from us. And it's not something that is really tangible all the way. For example, this business right now, my passion is this business. This is where I see my vocation. This is where I see my gifts coming through. But if this breaks down, let's say because YouTube has some kind of scandal and YouTube is gone, I'll still have my center of my life with me. It's not about the tangible things. They come as a result of this. They come of you understanding why you have to put yourself first. There's no reason to feel guilty. You have to do this. And in the beginning, you can't tell yourself, oh, so I have to first feel it and then I'm gonna do it. You do not feel like it, because thinking about your life, how it looks right now, and I'm not talking about how it looks in your fantasy. So let's say you want to be a writer and you know that this is what you're meant to do, but you're not actively doing something about it. And what has kept you from really being nervous about it, or really suffering, or just feeling like your life sucks, is that you felt oh, something's gonna happen. One day I'm gonna feel like it, and then I'm gonna do the step. I know this feeling. I know it way too well. Waking up, going to work, being in the hamster wheel of something that I knew wasn't it. And I felt like there's this exciting life, but it's somewhere outside of me. I thought it would get better if I would move. I thought, oh, I would just go to New York City and then have this exciting life, and I'll do all of those great things. But all of those things were an escape. It always starts with you. You have to understand that all the things you're looking for, they're not outside of you. And people say that all the time. Yeah, it's all within you. Don't look for things outside of yourself. But what are you supposed to do with that information? How does that help you to know what to change? But we have to understand first off that this is how our mind works. We focus on other people Of course, we want to help others because we're all connected and we all want for others to feel well as well. But that's not the main reason why we're doing this. The main reason why we don't put ourselves first is because the thought of our life is too painful. Because once you take care of yourself, you kind of like start catapulting yourself up, and you get to help people on a completely different level. And most of all, you start living your life on your terms, and then you understand like, oh, now that I see what is all possible for me, I actually see the potential for the people around me, for the society I live in, for all of that, and I can uplift that with the knowledge of what I was able to achieve for myself. So the first step, and I think that's one of the most important ones, is to actually accept your life the way it is. And I'm not talking about what you would want it to be. I'm not saying, oh, my business, makes $10 million a month and like that's the greatest thing alive just because this is like a fantasy of mine. What is it actually like doing for you right now? How is your life actually looking like? Like, do you have an exciting life? Do you feel like your movie is based on what you want? Are you focused on improving it, having an exciting story? Or is it just that you kind of make it by and you don't know how to change it? Well, if you're really being honest with yourself, and this is what, made the biggest shift in my life, is that I said, I can't stop looking outside of what my life is right now. I always thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna find a partner who's like somewhere completely different. They will take me into another world, so I don't have to focus on my life because my life was too painful to face. But then I said, okay, it's never gonna happen. If I keep doing this, it's always going to be tomorrow. It's always going to be another time or somewhere out there. But no, how is my life right now? And then I understood, okay, actually, my job is boring. I find it dull. I think like there's nothing really interesting happening that shows me that my life is improving. And I definitely don't feel that my gifts are being seen. I wanted to be seen and I wanted to contribute and I wanted to be a part of this like universe by me being myself and not by hiding all my true parts and then showing a facade that I thought people will like. That thought was devastating to me. And it kind of like occurred from one day to the other. It was that I actually looked at my life and said, what if my life would never change? What if my life would be just as it is right now and it would just go on like this, or I would die like soon? Like this is just what it's going to be. How would I feel about it? And that's when the pain hit me. That's when I understood that's actually the life that I had created for myself from the actions I've done like the last years. This is what I thought I deserved because this is what I created for myself. I can't keep telling myself that, oh, I deserve better and I should go for like something more exciting. And I do internally believe it so much. Well, what does your life look like? Like, what have you been creating for yourself? And it wasn't about me. It wasn't about what I liked, and it wasn't about what I could create. And so it really dawned on me, it wasn't just a painful feeling altogether of like understanding that this is what I had created, but then to understand that I have been building belief systems that help me to stay in the current system. I created those belief systems. I created the thought of, okay, you can step out and do something extravagant because then your friends are gonna feel bad about themselves because now I'm tapping into my potential and they become aware that they're not. Or that I should be focusing on them and how I could help them, because if I would help myself, I would be completely selfish. Like all of those thoughts, all of these belief systems I have built for myself on purpose so they don't remind me of the biggest pain, which is I don't want to look at my life. And all of this comes back to childhood or things we experienced earlier in life, which told us it's not a good idea to focus on yourself, to put yourself first, to be the leading character of your movie, because then your parents are not gonna like you, your friends are not gonna like you, you're gonna have any kind of like things not being given to you that you need. Especially as a child, you need your parents, you need your surrounding. You're not in a position, your mind is not that well developed to understand the difference between, oh, they're acting like this because they're having their limiting beliefs, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not a good person and I don't deserve these things. Because once you start this process of focusing on yourself and starting to like build on this, like you hone in on this and it becomes bigger and more concrete and you start seeing it in the real world, because we create everything twice. Once we create it in our mind, and then we create it in our reality. And it has to be really like going and starting from where you're at. If you really start thinking of something that is completely outside of your world, then like how are you gonna get there? If you don't start where your life is right now and improve it incrementally, you'll never reach it because there's like too much of a discrepancy between where you wanna be and where you are. So in order to start building on where you are, you gotta like be honest with yourself. And it's a huge ego hit in a lot of ways because only when you really understand and accept where you are, like honestly, what life you've created for yourself and what those things have kept you from achieving and doing and living out, only then can you start saying, okay, I thought I'm like this big genius who had like all of this success, but the truth is I'm just at the beginning. But once I see that I'm at the beginning, then I can improve. Then I can do better because I'm honestly really here. And then I start building. And that is the thing that cannot be taken away from you because you keep building on what you already have. You know, I talk about this over and over again because it's the one thing that is always true. You can only improve of what you already have. So don't dream of something that has absolutely nothing to do with where you are. You want to be like a doctor and right now you're working in a grocery store. I'm not saying you can't be a doctor. I'm saying what is the next step to becoming a doctor? What is the next step you would have to do? And maybe it is go get your GED. Maybe it's then to say I'm going to go like to college. Like what ways are there for me to like really make that happen? What is the next step? How do I go to med school? Like all of these steps have to be thought out and they have to be taken in. So if you say, well, I can't admit to myself that I'm really here, like I just want to think about like, you know, being a doctor and not like doing the steps because then I would have to admit to myself that I'm actually just like starting off. You're not gonna get there. But if your next goal is to get your GED, then that is what you need to focus on. And this acceptance, this first acceptance of your entire situation is the core thing here. You actually start loving your true self and then you can start building up on it. If you don't accept what you have, you can't improve it. Because once you start accepting it and you say, well, although like this is what I was able to create for myself, and it's like such an ego hit because, you know, let's be honest, I haven't been writing for the last 2 years. I haven't been doing what I said I was going to do. I have been procrastinating. I'm just somebody who goes to work every week, like barely sees any friends, don't improve much in my life. Like that's where I'm at. Like, you know, sometimes it's necessary to see that, to accept that, and then to start loving that. And then to see like, yeah, let me look at it from a perspective of gratitude. Let me look at it from a perspective of progress. Like, okay, so I haven't been able to write on my book like every day how I wanted to, how I've been saying I should be doing, and how I actually cheat myself and I lied to myself. I said, well, I did all of that, but the truth is no. You didn't do anything. You sat there and you didn't improve, or you sat there and you improved maybe 3%. Then instead of like, you know, playing this game and telling yourself, no, it's like this great. Yeah, it's those 3%. Accept it. Love yourself despite like all those imperfections that we all have. And once you step out in the world, once you start using your gifts, you will see more and more how imperfect you are. If you hide your gifts, that's the safest way not to get hurt. That's the safest way that people will not judge you, but that's also the safest way to stay where you're at. But once you start doing this and you understand, okay, 3%, and then this week I was able to do 4%, and you hone in on that and you get really, really, really excited that you're able to make that little improvement, then it doesn't feel like you're such a failure for doing only 3%. You're thinking of yourself, great, I love myself the way I am right now with what I have created. I forgive myself and for all the steps I have taken because I was hurting myself because I had some kind of limiting beliefs and things I didn't believe I deserved. But today, I'm gonna start building this life for myself. And you know what? You will feel guilty and you feel abandoned because the one thing that will never be taken away from you will be only for you. So now you start building this core of yourself that is just for you. And you will feel completely alone in this. You will actually say goodbye to all the dynamics, all the relationships, everything you've had in your life. It won't look like it on the outside, like when I did all of those steps that made the huge difference in my life. I don't think that people actually recognized it. But I knew that everything changed because I actually distanced myself from people because I was way too involved in what they could do to improve their life, what I could do to help them. But now I knew, no, I have to first off make sure that I'm okay, because that's when I can really do better. And if I don't take care of myself, if I don't make sure that I always put myself first and understand that there's nothing selfish about this, this is actually the most selfless thing you can do, because once you have enough, you give out of abundance. You don't give out of codependency, as in a way, I give this to you and I don't want to admit it to myself, but actually I want you to see that I did this for you. I want you to appreciate me. And the only way I deserve your love and your respect is because I'm doing things for you. When you start loving yourself and building something for yourself, because this is what you're doing. When you love yourself, you say, I love you enough to make sure that you have a better life. I make sure that my future self is living more in alignment to who she or he wants to be. Like, that is my priority. Because once you start doing this, this is your sign of I love myself. And then you start accepting people for loving you, for loving yourself. Like, understand this concept. This is a huge change from what I thought before. I thought nobody would ever love me, nobody would ever respect me, nobody would want to be with me if I'm not focused on them. If I'm focused on myself, who's going to care about me? But here's the twist. You know what? You don't need that much love from other people anymore. You don't need other people to be thankful and to give out of codependency. There is not this need anymore, because you're giving so much of the love and the respect and the admiration you earn for to yourself. You make sure that as much energy as you can, you give to yourself. You build yourself up. You fill your cup up, and then you start giving out of that abundance, out of what is overflowing. Once you understand, there's no way around it. You might feel guilty about it, but you have to put yourself first. You have to do that. You don't stay with friends because they need you if it's not something you like doing. You don't go on adventures that are not good for you but are good for others. You start building yourself up and you prioritize them every single time. And I know most people don't do that. And I know that before I thought, oh, I couldn't really say that or feel guilty about it. Now it feels like the most natural thing ever. Of course you put yourself first. Of course. That is like a necessity. And it's a completely foreign concept to me now to actually care about others more than myself. And I can take so much better care of my friendships, of the people around me, of my community. I can give of my gift so much more if I put myself first. Before that, I was only focusing on one person and I was actually keeping them stuck. Because what was I telling them? I was telling them, well, I have to focus on you because you cannot take care of yourself. You are not taking care of what you have to do, so I have to be the one doing it. And if I don't focus on you, you're gonna be lost. Like that kind of behavior. But that's not the case. You start focusing on you, and then you understand that you don't ever have the power to change or save people's lives psychologically. They have to be open. You can be a projection of where they're going. They can see you stepping up your game and living your life more in alignment to who you really are, and that will inspire them. But you cannot help people by neglecting yourself. So in the beginning, when you do feel this loneliness and you feel this separation, to understand that this is actually exactly what you have to do. Because before, this feeling of I belong here was because of you thought that you're actually belonging to a society because you don't step out of the mold, because you play by those unspoken rules. All of this is an illusion in the first place. Like, what I believe are society's rules are completely different than what you believe society's rules are. And every single person I meet, they say the same thing. Like, they will tell me, if I ask them, what do you think is what society wants? And then they tell me things that I feel like, I've never thought that. I never thought that society wanted this. And so you understand more and more how much of an illusion this is. but it's actually the thing that keeps you at your current reality realm. That's what it is. That's what has kept you safe, because here you know the dynamics, you know your place. You're kind of being accepted, you're not being pushed out, and we're so afraid of actually stepping out and building something on our own that we don't even do the first step. And when I say we start building something on our own, I'm not saying you should start a business. This is not for everybody. This is what I like to do. But stepping out is just living on your terms, understanding that whoever will not accept who you are doesn't belong in your life. You need to have your needs met, because this gives you the energy you need to move forward. And you know what? Of course you don't see those people around you, because you've built your environment in a way that mirrors back to you what you believe. It's always like this. You know how people say, well, the law of attraction doesn't really work, or, because I'm not getting anything. Like, if you look into this concept, I mean, in the end, it just comes back to what you create. It just like multiplies, and what you focus on becomes more. There's no magic behind it, but what I'm saying is that, of course my environment will mirror back to me that I'm exactly where I need to be. If I don't believe I should step out and do something extravagant, if I don't believe I should go out and, live a life on my terms, I should play by those rules, I'm going to surround myself by people who mirror back to me that I should stay exactly where I'm at. And even the people that will stay in your life, the dynamics will change, because the current dynamic is built on the fact that you are the person you act like right now on the outside, right? You have chosen those people because they have the same belief systems as you have. And if you believe I shouldn't step out and my dream life is outside of me, then the people around you will feel the same way. The dynamics you have with them will mirror that back. So the moment you do step out, it's more of, I first have to do the action before my belief changes, because it never really works that you change your belief and then the action happens. Like, that's just too much of a shift. You can help with like meditation and visualization, but in the end it's always like the action that you do despite not feeling like it. So I remember the moment I started putting myself first, I thought I was the worst person on earth. It felt so horrible. It really felt like there's nothing good about me, because focusing on myself, that felt so selfish. And I understood now how much of those like limiting beliefs I had put on myself, to think that of course it's okay for other people to put themselves first. Like, it's okay for my friend, it's okay for the people at my workplace, whatever it is, everybody that I actually like, for them it's okay to put themselves first. But me, like that's just like makes me so dark of like a soul, and it's like so like painful to look at it. But then I understood, I create this life, and I create what I believe about myself. And if I believe that I'm just as deserving as everybody else, I don't deserve any special treatment. I'm not something special as in I can take more pain, or I deserve better things, or I should give more. I have all the rights, all the privileges, and all the obligations as everybody else. We're not talking about, social injustice here. I just mean you as a soul on this planet. And if you believe that other people deserve to be treated right, then you have to believe that about yourself. And to understand that if other people don't put that much into the relationship as you are, it's not for you to convince them that they should do more, or they should be thankful that you're giving more. It's actually for you to step back and to understand that you've been giving too much. Because let's say you have 100% of like energy within this relationship, and you've been giving 70 and the other person has been giving 30. So the point here is to say, I'm giving 30 until we both might give like 40 at some point, but right now I'm giving 30, and the 40% that I used to give into this relationship, I'm gonna put it into myself, and I'm gonna start building myself up. And I'm gonna start by what is actually in my life, because I've accepted the person and the life I've created for myself so far. Like, I know the limitation it has, and I know that there are things I'm not proud of, or that could have been like so much better, but I accept and love myself with all of this. And then I start loving and being appreciative and grateful for every single step. Gratitude is not just like this, concept of, everything is great and then my life is better. Like, there's so many people who told me, yeah, I've tried gratitude or I've tried meditation. It didn't work. Well, do you love your life? Well, if you don't, then stop saying that. Like, if you have a great life and you say, well, I don't practice gratitude and meditation, great. And even if you say, well, I don't want to do these things, well, great for you as well. But I can guarantee you, gratitude is not an airy fairy kind of thing that you just like, oh, I'm just thankful for what I have now and I should be satisfied with what I have. No, it's not like you're saying, well, it has to stay like this. But if you can't be okay with what you have right now, you're never going to be able to create better for yourself. So it's sometimes so difficult for us to be okay with where we're at because it feels like, so what? I should be okay, and not only okay, I should be grateful for this current life, but it sucks. It's boring. If I'm grateful, it's like saying, I'm okay if it never gets better. But that's not what's happening. It's about saying it's okay where this is at. And I have to be actually okay if it never got any better. Because only then I can really be in the moment and create something better. Everything else is kind of like you're numbing yourself out. We're actually doing this by focusing on other people, but not accepting how reality currently is. We're really numbing ourselves out. And if we're numbing ourselves out, we cannot change it. We really need to feel what's going on so we can change the association with it. We can then start focusing on the things that are great in our life, because only through that we get to create even more of that. You want to be the center of your life? Then stop hiding from the truth. You need to see that truth, as ugly as it might seem, as devastating, as sad. You need to see that before you can start creating it. But once you say there is no other choice, I cannot pretend anymore, because the days go by and nothing changes and I cannot live like this anymore. I know I deserve more. I know I can live out more. I know that I have more potential than what is currently happening. Then be okay with what you have created right now. Not what's going on in your mind, but what is really in your environment. Because the life you live right now, the circumstance, your workplace, the relationships, they're reflections of all the thoughts and beliefs you had the last years. That's a manifestation of what you believe was possible. And that is what you created. And you know what? You deserve to live the epic life on your terms. It really is that great. I wouldn't be talking about this if I didn't really believe this. In the next videos of this series, we're gonna talk about how to set up your stage. So how to remove the blocks, how to make sure that your physical energy management is on point so you can have the energy to create what you want in your life. We're gonna talk about how you're gonna set up your plot. So the goals you have, to understand that it's more about what is the next exciting thing, what is the next right thing, and not about where's this going altogether. We don't need to know. You just need to know the next right step and start building that plot and that movie script more and more. And then lastly, but definitely not least importantly, we're gonna talk about the supporting roles in your life, how to build that support system that helps you become the person you wanna be and to live the life you always dreamed about. If you wanna dive deeper into this, guys, check out the EPIC Life Masterclass. There's an audio course. If you wanna start a little smaller, get the poster, sign up to the free email course. All of this will help because it's all about you. And if you wanna watch another video now, watch the video on how to start living your dream life. And if you're watching this video when other videos of the series are already out, start with that, because that's a package that will give you an overview of what you have to do in order to start being the center of your life, the leading lady or the leading man of your life. You're the main character of your movie, guys. So never forget that. You're worth all of it. I wish you, like always, a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.